managing the land properly, but managing by Agenda 21 guidelines. You can't even build a fire road without 3 days getting a permit. It takes you 3 days. Okay? So these folks aren't really interested in saving the land. They want power and control. I mean, they're the average, the people on the street don't know this. They mean well, but these folks don't know it. Here's Newburyport, right on the nice colonial town on the North Shore of Boston. Same thing, $155,000 to betray the people of their town. Greenfield, Massachusetts, oh, they got a little bit more. Oh, yeah, I wonder what they did. They get almost $202,000. Greenfield is in western Massachusetts, right? That was in the mayor's office. I had to actually go in there and zoom the camera in to get that picture, And it's a lot of fun doing this. Marshfield, Massachusetts. This was a very interesting case here. My ancestors pioneered Marshfield. I was visiting the home where my ancestor was struck by lightning in 1666. It was quite a thing to see that. And I went to the town hall with a few of our members, and they didn't have any checks on the wall, but they had this greenscape stuff. All this be green, go green, and all this stuff. I went to visit the town manager, and I had a DVD, which I suggest all of you get, and I had this reprint. I walk in, and I said, I'd like to give you, he said, I'm not interested in that. I said, well, Marshfield belongs to, I know what it belongs to, and I'm not interested in it. So I said, well, you don't have to be rude. I'm not being rude. All right. I took his business card. I did a little research. He's all international this and international that. He's the guy that brought it in. And he actually signed the application for ICLEI. Bet you got some money for that too, right? Yeah, Marshfield. Now here it is. Here's the application. You really can't see it too well, but it actually looks like you're signing the town over to ICLEI. It talks about you'll get a copy of the charter and the rules. That's what they're talking about here, folks. Again, what's that T word, okay? And this is about global warming. This is mostly about greenhouse gas and global warming. Kingston, which is not too far away, you go in their town hall, and there's all these citations about going green, and designated 2010 Green Community, right? And on top of that, they want you to join the Nature Conservancy. They actually have applications to join. They don't have any applications to join Oath Keepers, right? Or join the John Birch Society, but they have applications to join this, right? This was Wellesley, Massachusetts, a bedroom community, not too far from Boston. You walk in there and go green, green this, green that, all this material about going green, right? And they had a display of Rachel Carson's Green Wellesley campaign. This was in Keene, New Hampshire. Preserve America, go green. This was in Indianapolis, Indiana. I was in Indianapolis, downtown. Indianapolis does not belong to ICLEI, but they have an Office of Sustainability, the mayor's office, and they're passing out these little comic books to give to children. It's all about saving the planet. Nothing about saving the country. Nothing about saving the Constitution. It's about saving the planet. And most of the stuff in there is stuff that you would, nothing wrong with, closing the windows and, conserving energy. That's all well and good, but they're conditioning people to think globally, right? The young lady that was handing these out at a table like this in downtown Indianapolis, I asked her if she ever heard of Agenda 21. Never heard of it. And of course, I had this with me. I always like to carry ammunition when I'm going around. Okay, here, this was a school newspaper in West Roxbury High. There was a church service going on there. My 11-year-old, it was the first time she actually ever set foot in the public school, homeschool, because it was a church service going on, so that was an exception. You get this, and you get all of this green, nothing but liberalism in these school newspapers. This is the U.S. Post Office, green mail. You go in there, and you have to recycle, you have to adjust the thermostat, use public transportation, and plant trees. Nothing wrong with some of this stuff, but it's all about saving the planet, not saving the country, saving freedom. Now, here was one in another town, Melrose, Massachusetts, global warming propaganda. Now, hear this. Horton here's a who. Horton here's global warming. We know there's no global warming, right? And so, it's interesting. There's a summer camp that I'm involved with called Camp Constitution. And we've had Oath Keepers and different people participate. I hope you all help support the program. We had a front page story in a newspaper in Nashua Telegraph, Sunday after camp. It was a very fair article. Well, on the online versions, there was some liberals saying, oh, this is a brainwashing camp. This brainwashing going, it's terrible brainwashing. I responded, I said, oh no, you must have mistaken this for a public school. We actually had at our camp this year, we had a meteorologist from Hartford, Connecticut, exposing global warming. Okay? Yeah.
Art Horn?
Art Horn, yeah. Art Horn, yeah. Excellent guy, yeah. A lot of companies are buying into this. This is a contracting company that's building a green school in Dedham, Massachusetts. Established in 1905, proud to be one of New England's leading green contractors. I doubt that they are really global warming, greeny types. They want to get the contract, folks. And they're sort of selling out. And if they were honest about it, they'd probably say, yeah, we're spending what's the millions of dollars we're putting in this project. And by the way, schools, are they not sustainable? They're not sustainable. An old school, a public school, you're going to put people on school buses around town, global carbon footprint. Why don't we just homeschool everybody? Wouldn't that be a better idea? So we are very green when we homeschool, don't we? Aren't we? Yeah. Okay? We don't have to put them in a big building and heat the building. Solarize Massachusetts. Everyone's going solar, right? This is Winchester. This is another ICLEI town. Solarize Mass, and of course you have the same thing down here. I was doing a little research here on what's going on in Connecticut. You have something called Connecticut Goes Green, and you have a newspaper called Sustainable Connecticut, I think it's called, an online newspaper. Now, the word sustainable development, it's a nice sounding word. You know, what does that mean? Their definition is something like this: to be able to meet the needs of this present generation without infringing the needs of the future generation. That sounds reasonable, right? What's wrong with being sustainable? Well, how is sustainability defined? Middle class is not sustainable. Internal combustion engine is not sustainable. Private property is not sustainable. Anybody fit in that description a little bit? So lots of things, including some type of farming, is not sustainable. And I forgot to quote this guy to talk about the mindset of the folks that are behind this. All right. Do you remember a man named Jacques Cousteau? How can we forget him, right? He was a World War II hero, right? And he invented, he had a lot of innovations in the submarine. I guess he had invented some things going on with the submarine, and they had this great show for years that everybody watched. He's at the Earth Summit, one of the delegates, on the bottom paragraph. He's saying this in front of the whole group, and he's widely applauded, too, by the way, when he said this. An American-born child environmentally is too expensive to maintain to his or her adulthood in a world economy. American women must be subjected to some manner of regulation beyond licensing and mandatory abortion practices. Okay. We all agree with that, ladies? That sound good? Yeah. Oh, you're against that? Oh, then you're not sustainable. You had a Supreme Court justice in Connecticut that believes this too. What's his name? He thinks they should be licensed. Children should be licensed. But this was even worse. He quote the paragraph on top. This was in the UNESCO Courier. This is a publication of the UN. I found this online. I knew about this when it first came out, but I found this recently. You can get the download PDF. One American tires the earth much more than 20 Bangladeshis. World population must be stabilized, and to do that we must eliminate 350,000 people per day. And he said, he continued, he said, it's a terrible thing to say, but it's even terrible not to say it. Do the math, 350 times 365. 350,000, no. Make Hitler look like an amateur. Mao Zedong would say, boy, I should have been an environmentalist. It would have been much easier. I would have got away with my genocide. Right? Yeah.